Guys, welcome back to the channel. Have another video for you, and this time we're racing GT3s at Fuji. Man, I gotta say, this was an absolutely epic race. I mean, absolutely astounding. You know, there's very few races, few and far between, where you just have such a visceral experience. Your heart's racing and you're just locked in. Everybody's racing cleanly, side by side, and there's just lots of moves happening. It was fantastic. I don't want to ramble on too much, but we're going to get right to the action. So if you get a lot out of this video and you enjoy it thoroughly, please make sure that you like and subscribe to help out the channel. Enough of me talking, let's get right into the action. Alrighty guys, getting right into it. So this is my second best qualifying lap time here. But nonetheless, I'm going to do a little walk through the track. Fuji is an extremely technical circuit. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but it is challenging. So we're going to brake a little bit before the 100-meter board here, get down to first gear, pitch it in to the right, hit that apex, let it run out a little bit wide, then we're going to come back over to the right side. Now we're going to have a couple of the brake markers here up on the right. You're going to go a little bit past the 100, about 75 meters, pitch it in left, hit that apex, don't let it run too wide. That curb is very upsetting if you hit it wrong. You got to keep it relatively tight, let it swing out just a little bit, downshift into third gear. Helps rotate the car, brake it a little after that 50-meter board, down in the first gear. We're pitching it to the left, hit that apex, let it run wide, get on the throttle as fast as you can. That is absolutely crucial. You can trust the car a little bit more, in my experience, to get back on it and get traction. So wham on the brakes, roughly at that big sign above you, pitch it in, a lot of slow corners coming up. This is the technical part. You got to be careful over the curbs here, or it'll really unsettle the car when you're accelerating through these lower gears. Pitch it in, run a little bit over the corner, but you got to be careful because you're going from an uphill to a peak and a downhill, so the suspension is under load, and when you give it gas, you got to be very cautious or you can easily lose it. So coming in the last corner, you see to the right that orange barrier. We're going to brake right about there, pitch it in, get on the gas as soon as we can, and then we are off. And we're trying to get as much speed onto the straight as we can. So that's roughly what the track is like, but I just gotta say, this Porsche sounds absolutely astounding, and I just want to take a moment to sit back and listen to it. I'm gonna shut up, just get hypnotized by the sound of this vehicle. Enjoy.
Time 1:42.50.
Wow. I mean, all I can say is there is nothing like the sound of an inline six-cylinder coming from the Porsche again. I mean, it is just one of the best-sounding engines ever produced, period. Nothing like it. But as you can see, we ended up finishing in P8 with a pretty solid pace. We were in the 142s as far as the lap times. The fastest guy, he was 141.2, so pretty hard to compete with that, but at least we knew that the grid was going to be extremely competitive, without a doubt. Buckle up. This is going to be quite an entertaining race. There's a lot that goes on, and there's really never a moment where I'm not side by side, or at least somebody right on my tail, or I'm right on somebody's tail. So here we go. We're about to get the green lights here. We're just holding our speed and just waiting for those lights. And here we go. So the Ferrari here gets a really bad start, so I'm going to actually go a little bit off track just to get by. Great opportunity. I'm able to gain a couple positions. I can't really tell. I must be in P4 or P5, and I'm going to have the outside, so I'm going to go wide just to play it safe. And as you can see, there's already mayhem. So I'm going to be forced off the track, go out wide. Don't want to ruin my race. No room for risk at this point. Just got to survive. So unfortunately, with that happening on the inside into turn 1, we dropped all the way back down to P12, so worse off than what we were from the start. But just, again, there's a lot of traffic, and we can see somebody's going out wide here, the Mercedes. Got to be careful, kind of a sketchy rejoin. Going to go out wide, try to take a couple places. Again, we're back up into P9, P10, get as much speed as we can. Going to be going in side by side here with the Mercedes here on the left. I'm going to try to make a move here on the inside, I believe, and try to force him. He brakes really early, and I'd make a little aggressive move, but I don't want to take out that Aston Martin, but it does intimidate him, making that aggressive move on the inside. He's going to push me wide a little bit off the track. No big deal, just going to kind of fall right in behind him. But as you can see, the Mercedes takes the outside and gains more speed, so I'm forced to fall in line behind. And at this point, I'm just going to hold my line and set myself up for the slipstream down the long main straight. So really going to focus on getting that good exit here, getting on the throttle as soon as we can. And now we have the double slipstream because that Mercedes is going to be right behind the Aston Martin. And then I'm going to have the benefit of getting a little bit extra tow. So getting the tires up to temperature here. They should be at relatively optimal temperatures. We should be good to push this car. We're not going to make any aggressive moves into turn 1. It's just not going to be viable. But you can see the Aston Martin makes a pretty bad turn into turn 1, and he loses some time. But he's going to drop back a place, and now he's going to be right in front of us. He's right on the Mercedes, and we're not close enough, but I think we're going to capitalize and pick up some speed here into this wide sweeping right-hander. Go a little too wide, a little more wide than what I would have liked, but it's not going to make or break. Get on the gas as soon as we can. We're right on the Aston Martin's tail, so we might make a move on the inside as long as he doesn't defend, but that's going to be dependent upon what the Mercedes does ahead. So we really got to be situationally aware. We don't really have anyone behind us, so I'm going to try to go fake him out on the outside. He doesn't bite it. He covers the track really nicely, and I just ended up losing time. Maybe not the smartest move on my end, so we got to make up a little bit of time and catch up to him. You can see the Lexus up there and the, I believe it is a Lamborghini. They're going at it, and they have a wreck. And I try to thread the needle, but then the Aston Martin spins out, and unfortunately, I hit them both, and I get, as you can see, the front bumper damage, and my right front and rear suspension gets a little bit of damage. And as you can see, my alignment is just way off. At this point, I was extremely disappointed, and I strongly debated whether I should just pit. And it's going to be the end of my race, but I could at least get safety rating by racing cleanly. But there was a split second where I had made the decision to say, let's just roll with the punches and let's try to figure it out if we can get an understanding of how this car is going to drive with the aero damage and with the suspension out of alignment. So we're just going to commit to finishing this race no matter what. So the strategy at this point, with the suspension out of alignment, we are going to play it a little bit safer than we normally would and just get a feel of how this car is going to react going through the corners. So whatever my braking points are, we're just going to dial it back maybe 10%, 20%, and sure, that's probably going to mean that the individuals behind me are going to catch up, but I cannot risk anything where I completely spin out, hit a wall, and damage my car, and forced to disqualify myself from the race or quit from the race. So it's really all just about strategy, being intelligent, and adapting to the car as quickly as I can. So we got a little bit of breathing room. Luckily the Mustang is not right on our tail yet, but as you can see, I am being a little cautious going through these slow corners. I'm actually getting a positive delta, luckily, despite the suspension damage, but at the same point in time, the previous lap, for reference, there was a lot going on, a lot of battling, and then obviously the wreck and hitting the Aston Martin and the Lexus is going to drastically lower my lap times. As you can see, those top guys are in the 142s, just under 143, and we're able to post a 143.8, which is pretty solid considering the damage that we have. After that previous lap and testing out the markers, I felt confident that I could still use my normal reference points for braking and turning. So I decided to start committing to those again. And again, they are not catching up to me at this point yet. And this is good. I'm able to maintain pace and keep a healthy gap. But as you can see, Kingdom is slowly but surely catching up to us. He's catching up like a 10th here, a 10th there, and each corner I am slowly losing the advantage. Now, you would think the suspension damage is where my problems start, but that's not really where it begins. As you can see on my windshield, we have rain coming in. That's right, rain. So we're on the dry tires. We have suspension damage. It's out of alignment. Now I'm thinking to myself, well, do we pit for the wet tires? Is it going to get worse? I wasn't sure. I didn't know what to predict. And I didn't think it was smart to pit this early. I was going to let other people make that move first. So if I saw the vast majority of the people on the grid start pitting for the wets, I would just force myself to finish another lap and then come in for the wets later. So that was the strategy I was going to roll with. But if we kept this light drizzle, we should be safe. But nonetheless, it is still going to affect our grip levels going into a lot of these corners. And we are especially going to have to be careful on the wide sweeping right-hand corner, which I believe should be turn 4 if I am counting or doing my math correctly, just visualizing the track in my head. So again, racing under the limits. Now we got to pull back about 10 to 20% of what we're used to. Boy, as you can see here, I almost lose it. I mean, just this little bit of drizzle of rain, and I completely lost my line. And now, as you can see, the Mustang is going to seize on the opportunity, go on the outside. While I'm able to hold it on the inside, I'm surprised that I was able to get ahead of him, because he should have theoretically gotten a lot more speed out of that corner compared to my line. However, he must have had trouble with getting traction with the throttle and given the rein. So that Mustang, it is a beast to handle. If you've ever driven it, you have to be extremely cautious when you're coming out of the slow corners and giving it throttle in certain situations, especially on Fuji, and especially when we have a little bit of light rain. So we unfortunately have to admit defeat here. The Mustang has taken the lead, but we're just going to try our best to keep up pace with him and stay in the draft of the straight. But we have 3 people who are neck and neck right behind us on our tail. And as you can see, I gave my lovely fiance a gesture of good love there. I had the blinds open. She had came home from work late, and she thought it'd be funny to scare me through the window while I was racing. So yeah, I ended up giving her a lovely, lovely gesture because she is the love of my life. But anyways, moving on to the race, Mercedes takes advantage. I had a really poor turn 1, and he's gonna take it take advantage of that. And then again, the Lamborghini here takes over, and we're forced to concede the position. We've got more people in the mix here, right behind us. We've got the BMW and a Porsche. It's sweaty from here. There is absolutely no brakes from here into the end. It's going to be neck and neck battles into corners. No room for error at all. And we're going to try to keep it as clean as we possibly can. So we found on turn 4 the wide sweeping right-hander that I mentioned. We had found our line for the wet, and we felt something that was quite comfortable. And as you can see, we're starting to find a decent pace despite the suspension damage as well. So we're going to try to get right behind this Lamborghini. Keep close. Got to be in the slipstream for this long straight again. And he's holding up with the Mercedes. You can see the Porsche makes an aggressive move from behind us. If you look in the rearview mirror, overtakes the BMW there on the inside. And now he is right behind us versus the BMW. Keeping the slipstream, the gap is staying relatively the same, but we're pulling away from the Porsche. The one thing that is a big downfall about the Porsche, it rotates so good on the entry. It is just absolutely phenomenal on the corners. But the biggest downfall of the Porsche is it doesn't have the best straight line speed. So anytime you get into situations where you are forced to get down a long straightaway, your exits have to be absolutely perfect or you're going to lose a lot of lap time. So you really have to capitalize on the corners whenever you're driving the Porsche, but it is the most fun to drive. So as you can see, the Lamborghini makes a critical mistake in turn 4. It's an easy place for people to go really wide, and then you can easily take the inside. So we don't quite overtake him, but we're right on his tail, so maybe we can make a move on the inside. We'll see if he defends the corner, but the Mercedes is trying to make a move up there on the BMW. That should be a benchmarker. He's not in the competition, but thankfully he's not going to fight us. He's going to let everyone through, not ruin anybody's race. So thank you. We always appreciate people who are not out to ruin others' races, who are way ahead in the grid, and they are clearly out of the race. So the Lamborghini's back on the Mercedes right now, and we're falling back behind, unfortunately. Got to have a really good corner here so I can maintain that gap, stay in the slipstream, because that Porsche is right on our tail. He is doing quite a good job. But despite all this, I'm very impressed that we're able to stay alive, stay within the top 10, despite the circumstances. And the rain at this point has not picked up. Nobody's pitting. So I think it's safe to say, for now, we're not going to be going on the wets this race at this point. I mean, who knows? Anything could change really drastically. But just looking over the horizon, it doesn't look like there's any dark clouds coming into the picture. So no need to alter our strategy in terms of the tires. Lamborghini's pulling a little bit further and further ahead. The Mercedes, they just have a different pace. I'm extremely limited in what I can do. And so my fiance, as you can see here, she makes a little cameo. She does not realize that I'm in the middle of filming this and completely unaware of her surroundings, but that's okay. Just a little random side note, we have been together for, it's been roughly 6 years, and I mean, we've been together for a long time, and yeah, she is my rock, and you know, she keeps me in line. You know, I can be all over the place and quite goofy, but yeah, without her, I mean, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be a lost puppy, let's be real. Lucky to have somebody like that in my life. And she's putting up with my shenanigans, so she thinks this, she thought it was extremely silly when I bought a really nice microphone and a camera to start filming YouTube videos, and she was giving me some crap about it, but, you know, that's okay. That's fine. I was expecting it, and it's all fun and games. We laugh about it, and it's a good time. And as you can see, she's trying to distract me, but I refuse to break focus. As you can see, I am locked into this race. I am just in the zone. This is just peak motorsport. This is what I live for, honestly. sim racing, side-by-side racing, it's a whole entire mental game. It just forces you to focus on the task at hand, and you don't want to squander anything. You make one little mistake, and that's it. It's over. The whole thing's over. And I was going to not allow my better half to ruin this race, this epic race. I had to get the content for everyone. So, back to the race. As you can see, it's action-packed. We're still neck and neck with the Lamborghini and Mercedes, and that Porsche is right on our tail. I thought he was going to make an aggressive move on the inside, just knowing what he has done in the past, but he doesn't. Lamborghini and the Mercedes get a really bad exit there into those tight chicanes, so we're able to get right on their back. Lamborghini brakes a little bit earlier than I expected. I thought I almost lost it there. I gave it a little too much throttle over that hill where the suspension was losing its load, but luckily we were able to catch it. Mercedes goes a little too wide, so he's going to be forced to have a tight entry into this corner, which is going to slow him down ultimately on the straight. So I get a pretty good exit. I'm right behind the Lambo, and I'm hoping the Lambo's able to get the toe on the Mercedes, and hopefully he makes a move side by side with him. They both make a mistake, and we can get up into P6. That's what I'm hoping at this point, but man, I did not realize the straight line speed of that Mercedes. I mean, that thing rips down the straights. So I drastically underestimated it. I thought the Lambo was faster in a straight line, but apparently I'm wrong. Porsche is right. He's basically on our bumper at this point, so we gotta be wary of him. You can see he's trying to back out and hoping I made a mistake, but he's realistically not gonna be able to make an overtake unless I make a mistake and I go extremely wide into turn 4. I'm making a move, possibly going on the inside. The Lamborghini gives me the space. Ooh, we're neck and neck. We're neck and neck going into the next corner. So it's just a game of straight line speed. But as I said, the Porsche, it is not very good with straight line speed. And that Porsche got an amazing exit out in turn 5. He's on the inside. He's going to overtake us, unfortunately. But we're still side by side into the chicane, neck and neck. Lots of respect being given to each other. Oh, but I'm barely getting across, but I lose a little bit of traction, so I have to give up. I have to concede. I was hoping for the switchback, but he was able to go through the corner and defend the position. But then again, we have another Porsche here. Caulfield had lost it, so now we got him into the mix. And oh, he loses traction and he completely spins out, loses the race. He is done for. He is out of the picture. Unfortunately, we're down into P9. But this race is not over. We still have 12 whole entire minutes to go. The Porsche is trying to evade me so that I can't get the toe, but I'm obviously not going to let that happen. I'm going to slip right in behind him, get as little bit of extra speed if I can. If I can get a mile an hour or two down the straight, that's just going to help me. Not going to be making a move here into turn 1. I'm not close enough, so I'm just going to brake in my normal line and see what happens. Nothing out of the ordinary. The Porsche makes a pretty reasonable corner, and he's going to get a good exit. So, again, we're just falling right behind, racing our normal line. As you can see, the Mercedes and the Lambo, they're starting to go at it. The Mercedes is trying to fake him out, maybe take the inside, fake the outside. There's a lot going on up there, so there could be room for potential errors down the road. We gain a little bit more speed, actually, coming into turn 4, and we're going into turn 5, brake a little later, and we're getting a pretty good exit, but the Porsche is able to get on the power. As you can see, I had to adjust the steering wheel as needed to gain the traction, but nonetheless, we're getting a better lap time. We're getting close to 143 flat. We're almost in the 142s despite having damage, which is impressive. I put a little pressure on the Porsche. I decided that I'm going to fake on the inside. I wasn't going to go side by side because I would have wrecked him, and that would have been not respectful racing at all. So back out. He gets a little bit ahead, so we're just following our same line again. And, oh, it looks like the Mercedes is going to take the inside, but he doesn't quite get it, not enough. And I think he was just trying to make a move to fake out the Lamborghini and get him to drive a little nervous, race in his head, make a mistake. Unfortunately, through those corners, we did not execute properly. The gap is getting quite big. We're a second away from the Porsche. We are not in the slipstream. At this point, our only hope is to hope they make a mistake. I mean, obviously we can try to increase our pace, but, you know, given the situation with the damage, I mean, we got to be realistic here. I mean, these guys don't have aero damage. They don't have suspension damage. They're going to be able to race their race as fast as they possibly can and not push it. So we're going to be able to capitalize, hopefully capitalize on their mistakes. We're able to get a little bit more of a positive delta. We're gaining. We're about 0.3 of a second as of now. Getting a really good swing out here. Really, really good entry into this corner. Getting a lot of speed. We catch up to the Porsche. We catch up to the Mercedes. They really slow down because they're battling, and we are right on their tail. Capitalizing on that mistake, getting back into the slipstream, and now we just got to make sure that our Sector 3, we keep it nice and clean, get our traction, race the lines, no mistakes. We have to race clean. Oh, I make an aggressive move trying to fake him, then I'm going to take him out on the inside, but I don't. I brake right in time. Makes the Porsche nervous. We are right on his bumper, essentially. So I'm going to race the normal line, go wide, try to get a little bit more speed. I went a little too wide, but it wasn't too terrible. It didn't completely lose us time. Down to first gear, pitch it in, good exit, back on the throttle. Fiance is back in the picture, looking at the camera, looking at me. She is clearly very invested into this race, very invested into my face camera, and now she realizes, oh, he's filming. This is my hubby. I love him. He's a goober. Anyways, we failed in Sector 3 ultimately. When it comes to the last corner, again, we're back to where they are ahead of us by 1 second, essentially. Not ideal, not ideal. We're not keeping super consistent through Sector 3, but we're still in this race. I mean, we're overcome quite a bit of adversity. And another positive, it is not raining anymore. So we made the right call, not moving to the wets too early. But I don't know, some things are shaking up here. The Mercedes has dropped back. Now it's just the Lamborghini by himself. So now the Porsche and the Mercedes are fighting for a battle. They're essentially almost side by side through turn 4. Oh, but the Mercedes makes a mistake, so this is an opportunity for me. I'm going on the inside. I overtake him. Now I have to go into a defensive position, but he rear ends me. He rear ends me, bumps me. Accidental, I'm sure. He probably just didn't expect me to brake as early as I did. Bumps me, and that kind of forces me to go a little wider than I anticipated, and the Mercedes is ultimately going to take the position again. So here we go, we're side by side, we're going to take the inside, cut them off, play defensive, and we take the position. Now we're back up into P8. We are making a little bit of progress, so now we got to hold them off. We got to stay in the game. Stay in the game, name of the game. Can't make mistakes, got to stay focused. So you see the Porsche takes on the inside, aggressive move. He hits the side of the Lamborghini, and he is out of the picture. He is done. He should not be catching us anytime soon as long as none of us make a mistake. He is done. We are up at P7. There is a lot going on in this race right now. This is quite exciting. But now we've got the Lamborghini, Mr. Jones, ahead of us. We got a second to make up. Again, let's improve on our lap times. Let's hope he doesn't make any mistakes, and let's just do it. Let's do the darn thing. Mercedes has got the better straight line speed. He's going to go on the outside. I'm going to hold my line on the inside. Try to go defensive. He gets a really bad exit, and we get a little bit more speed. Got a benchmarker in the BMW. He's going to let us pass, thank goodness. But I got a little nervous there for a second because he was maintaining relatively the same speed as I was going into turn 3, but he backed out, thank goodness, because that could have ruined the race if he committed to that inside. As you can see there, coming out of turn 3, I went a little wide on that curb, and you notice how rough that was when I went just out of the track limits. Man, you got to be really careful there, because if you hit those bumps outside the track limits, it can ruin your race. So luckily I came out of that unscathed. As you see, we're gaining on the Lambo, actually, and he makes a pretty bad error. It's not a very good exit. Overall, through those little sections of tight turns, we get better exit, come out more speed, and we try to take the inside, and it's an aggressive move. That's really sketchy over those bumps, but it does not invalidate the lap or validate track limits. But the Lamborghini gets the inside on this corner, and he is still back up into P6. But we're right on his tail. We are going to get a good exit, and we're going to come out with the slipstream and help us maintain that gap. We're going to be right on his tail coming into turn 1. We've only got a couple more opportunities, though. We're going to have 4 more laps to go to overtake this guy. Can we get it done? Can we get to P6? I'm not sure. We'll find out. But there's still a lot of action that is going to be coming up here in these last 4 laps. So racing our normal lines like we would. I braked a little too early. That was not a very good angle coming into that corner, and I don't get enough speed, and Jones is going to get a little bit of a gap, but we get focused, we refocus, we get back to racing our lines. I have a much better turn on turn 3, and this is the corner where we seem to be making up a lot of time with the Porsche. The Porsche is excellent through turn 4. So you can see we bring that delta down to about half a second. He does not take a very good line through the turn 5. Doesn't get as much speed as he probably should have. So we're right on his tail. We're, half a second, 0.6 of a second behind him. And this might be the sector where he seems to make a lot of mistakes. His braking point is just not right. And you can see, that actually turned out to be pretty decent for him. He actually took that corner pretty well this lap, but we took it well. So we're still half a second. Pitching it in, maybe a little too late, missed the apex a bit, but we don't mind. We're still getting a good amount of speed. Braking in, and this corner is really sketchy when you're in first gear. You got to be very careful that your throttle application and your steering angle. I see so many people lose it there. It's one of the most common spots for people to just lose their race, drop back multiple places. So we're half a second still behind Jones, which is great. And we're feeling confident, honestly, at this point. I feel confident that maybe Jones has the faster car, given that he doesn't have the suspension damage and the aero damage. And now we have rear damage, actually, because of Nara. Nara had hit us in the rear, and that is going to affect our straight line speed and also the aerodynamics consistency on the car. So we're not going to have the predictability of the car in the corners, and we're not going to have as much straight line speed and acceleration as we would like. Jones has a really bad turn 3 there where he goes a little wide and he cuts it back to the left too much. Then you can see we gain a little bit. Now we're within like a quarter of a second of him, and we get in. We have a really good entry into this corner, get back on the gas. We're in the slipstream into this, and we are right behind him. We're making micro adjustments in our delta. We are right on his tail. We are not going to let him get away. We will not falter this opportunity. Hoping he makes a mistake again here. He does not hit that optimally, so we're able to gain just even a little bit more, another 10th on him. We are right there, right behind him. Break down in the second gear. We hit the apex just a little bit better where we're slightly touching the curb, and he goes a little wide. He almost upsets the car, and then we're up again on another 10th on him. Oh, he goes a little wide, but we do not get good traction there, so we drop back 2/10, but then again, we're right there, pitching it in, back on the throttle, and we overall, in one lap, have made slight improvements. Down about a quarter of a second, we have the slipstream, haven't really lost anything. But once again, our opportunities to gain another position are dwindling. Time is running out, time is not on our side, and we need to find an opportunity to get it done if it comes up. We need to seize an opportunity. He makes a pretty big mistake here. He goes a little defensive, so we're a little bit closer to him going into turn 3, and he seems to really make mistakes here. Turn 3 and 4, so hoping he goes a little wide. He cuts that corner pretty darn good into turn 3, but we'll see how he does into turn 4. He's keeping it nice and tidy, a pretty solid line. We're going to blip it down into third gear. No, we stay into fourth gear and keep the speed, and we're still right there with him. Down into first gear. He goes a little wide. We're back on the throttle, pitching it out wide, letting the car go, keeping the traction, and here we go. Going into the third sector again, and this is where people can tend to make the most mistakes. So breaking our normal point, he's going defensive, and we get a little bit better exit going through the little chicane here, these little sector in sector 3, and we have a Lexus benchmarker here, so this could really shake things up for us. This could work out in our favor. He goes really wide, And, oh, the Lexus, he looks like he could pitch it in, but he becomes aware. I got a little nervous, so I kind of back out, and I lose a little bit of time to Jones, unfortunately. But now we are back in the game. We are right there. We're about 0.4 of a second. Get a good exit, good speed, go out wide, still in the slipstream. And this is the final lap, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I tell myself, let's go. We're going to make this happen. So, good luck, Godspeed, and let's see what happens. Turn 1. Here we go. He goes defensive again. A little defensive. Not the best exit. Oh, but God, that Lambo gets such great traction, though, coming out. But nonetheless, we had a little bit better line. So here we go. Coming into turn 3, going out wide. Jones has a good line, so we're going to come into turn 4. Keep it nice and tidy. Let it swing out just a hair, Back on the throttle. We're in 4th gear, down to 1st. Pitch it in. Get on the throttle as fast as we can. We got to maintain that speed. I'm able to finagle the steering wheel, maintain control of it, rein it in. We're in the slipstream, and we got to find a move. We got to find an opportunity. So we're brake here, and he's going to have, oh, he goes a little too wide. He goes wide. This is the opportunity. Here we go. So we go in. We're going to go out wide, and we're going to go a little bit over the track limits, beyond the track limits. We're on the inside. We're going to take it. We're going to cut across. We're going to risk it. We're slightly ahead. He's on the outside, but he gets more speed, and we got to find a way to do a switchback. But unfortunately, I do not find the traction. I do not pitch it in. I do not execute. So this is the final opportunity here. I have to have the speed. I cut it in, and I get on the throttle as fast as I can. And despite my best efforts, it's not enough. Jones holds P6, but what a battle. I mean, what a battle. That was just exciting racing all the way through, and we overcome a lot of adversity between the rain and the suspension damage. Absolutely well done. I am very proud of that result. And this is what I live for. Races like this. This was epic. Absolutely epic. Proud P7. Proud P7. That's all I have to say. Well, guys, that was one heck of a race. That was one of the best races that I have had in a long time in terms of competitiveness and just a lot going on. That was an absolutely thrilling one. I'm glad I got that all recorded, and I was glad I was able to make this video for you guys to share my experience going through that race. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed it. And once again, if you do enjoy my content and you like these videos, please do give it a like, and do please subscribe, as I will be posting more videos like this in the future. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.